Look at this photograph. And every time I knew it makes me laugh. And every time I know it makes me laugh. Yeah. Oh, it's not Nickelback? Alright, not Nickelback. Photograph stars Issa Rae and LaKeith Stanfield. And what's it about? Well, LaKeith Stanfield's character is a writer at the Republic, and he is interviewing a couple people for a reason story doesn't really tell. There's interviewing a person, and then she meets the person's daughter because she passed away of this, I guess, art gallery they're trying to do. But he meets her, and a love affair happens, even though it's not an affair because they're not cheating on anyone. But it's a love, not even a triangle. It's just a love story about the photograph. So what I like about this movie, I like the atmosphere of the New York, Louisiana, and London in this movie. There's some witty dialogue pieces in this, and the actors are well with their parts they're given. It is a fine little chick flick movie. And that's the problem. It doesn't do anything special. The story's really weak, and they praise Drake in this movie. So we'll start from the latter. Drake's awful. I hate Drake, and they're propping Drake up in this movie, at least one of the characters, so you get a notch off. Sorry, I just can't. Just my pride. Nope, nope, nope. And then the story, the problem is they don't really tell what's going on in the story or why the story is actually happening. It's very minimal. There's very little dilemma in this movie, and it's not believable in some aspects. For example, why all of a sudden is this guy going to Louisiana and trying to figure out who this lady is? They really don't explain that. He's basically in Louisiana interviewing this guy who's looking for Christina. But why? Because of the art gallery. It really doesn't tell why. They do go to this museum, the Wild Rose or something, a museum in this, or that's a movie, a French movie. Anyway, but they just don't really explain why this reporter's writing this article about this person. Is it because her daughter is opening up a gallery in her name? You just have to assume that, and that's kind of a bummer. Also, the dilemma of when they're getting together and kind of when they break up, or if they want to do a long distance relationship, it's not that believable because they've only known each other for a couple of weeks. Like that's why there is no dilemma of like, oh, you're going to London, oh, but you want to go to Louisiana, but we're in New York right now, so what should we do? And it doesn't really, there's no really dilemma because you know for a fact there's not a lot at stake. Yeah, they like each other. It could be a fling, it could be a real thing, but I mean, it's 2 weeks in a month. So what are you trying to say? And even his brother in this movie is like, yo, you go way too quick with something, so you need to calm down. And that's what the issue with this movie is. They're getting in this relationship too quick. We don't even know if it's going to last or not. And there's no really reason to care because it's only 2 weeks or a month, and who knows that relationship's actually going to last. I believe more of her side of the story of trying to figure out who her mom was and why she kind of wasn't a good mother and who her father actually was. That was more interesting. But like I said, they really don't dive deep to why her mother wasn't a mother that was a good mother. They really don't tell that. They just say, oh, she just wishes she could love more than love as much as she liked her work, and that's it. It's like that's all you're gonna give us? Like, come on, give us more, give us more. And the score in this movie, just too much jazz. Every 5 minutes there'd be a different jazz score, and it was continuous throughout the whole movie. And I don't mind jazz. I don't. Like La La Land, I enjoyed the jazz scene in Motherless Brooklyn, but this was continuous jazz, different scenes. It's like, okay, I understand what you're doing, but come on, let's go, let's do this. And then they also don't talk about his ex-girlfriend Tessa a lot. They bring her up, like the cousins or the nieces bring her up to the new girlfriend, but then after 30 seconds of talking of like, oh, she's in the past, like they brought it up to think it's a good part of the story that it's gonna cause a rift, but it was a 30-second part of the story and no rift was caused and nothing about Tessa. Like, oh, Tessa's in Louisiana, maybe, but that's all we're going to talk about. Like, it's just that much part of the background of the story. Anyway, it's a harmless movie. It really is. It's a love story. I just wish there was more juicy information for those backstories to actually come to life. So the photograph will receive a 2.5 out of 5 with Futons. It goes at 50%. So see the critics' news scores gave this movie. So you have the critics at 74% with 66 of them, and the audience scoring 82% with 3937. Here's critic consensus. gorgeous visuals, an affecting love story, and simmering chemistry between Issa Rae and LaKeith Stanfield keep the photograph solidly in focus. I mean, yes and no, but like I said, I just wish the story, the background of why they're doing this photograph, why this movie is called The Photograph, really is in the background, and it's not. It should be in the forefront of the movie, and it just isn't, in my opinion. So do you agree with the 74, the 82, or the 50? Chase out the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if there's Futon Toby. You Futon. Just thanks for watching. Have a great day. And yes, I am a Nickelback fan, so suck it. I like me some Nickelback. I don't care what you say.